It was a quiet fall afternoon in Dixon, Kentucky, the air cool and filled with the scent of turning leaves. The sky had that soft golden hue that made everything glow, but inside Amy Slaton's home, things didn't feel bright at all. Amy sat by the window, her hands trembling slightly as she clutched a crumpled piece of paper. The doctor's report. Her eyes were red and swollen, tears running freely as she tried to steady her breathing. Those few words from earlier that morning replayed in her head like a nightmare she couldn't wake up from. "I'm afraid your body can't handle another pregnancy," the doctor had said gently but firmly. "It would be too risky, Amy. You might not survive it." Those words shattered her heart into 1,000 pieces. Amy had always dreamed of having one more baby. She could see it so clearly, a little girl running around the house, laughing with her brothers Gage and Glenn, a tiny pink bow in her hair. But that dream was gone now. The pain of hearing that she would never again carry a child tore through her like nothing she'd ever felt before. She tried to smile for her boys when she got home, tried to hide the sadness behind a fake cheerfulness. Gage was sitting on the floor with his toy trucks, making motor sounds, while Glenn giggled from his baby chair. Their laughter was the only thing keeping her from falling apart. Later that night, after tucking her children into bed, Amy finally broke. Sitting on the edge of her bed, she buried her face in her hands and let the tears come. Silent at first, then heavy sobs that shook her whole body. That's when the door opened quietly, and her partner, Brian Lovehorn, stepped inside. He could tell something was wrong from the look in her eyes ever since she came back from the doctor. He sat down beside her and spoke softly. "Amy, talk to me, baby. What's wrong?" Amy's voice cracked as she tried to explain. "Brian," the doctor said, "I can't have any more kids. Ever." She handed him the report, her fingers trembling. "He said it would be too dangerous. My body's too weak." Her words broke off as fresh tears fell. "I wanted another baby, Brian. I wanted a little girl for us." Brian's face softened as he took her hand in his. "Amy, listen to me. You're already whole. You've got two beautiful boys who love you more than anything in this world. And I love you. You're stronger than you think, babe. You've survived things most people couldn't. This doesn't make you less of a woman. It doesn't make you a failure." But Amy shook her head. "I just feel broken, like I failed at something I was meant to do." Brian gently lifted her chin so she'd look into his eyes. "Amy, you didn't fail. You lived. You fought through everything, the surgeries, the pain, the depression, the hard days, and you came out the other side. That's not failure. That's strength." Glenn and Gage, they see you as their hero. And so do I. Amy leaned into his shoulder, sobbing quietly. "All I wanted was to give you that little girl. Brian, that's all." He wrapped his arms around her and whispered, "You've already given me everything. You've given me love, family, laughter. You're my world, Amy. And I'm not going anywhere. I'll be right here. Always." Days passed slowly after that, and though the pain was still heavy in her heart, Amy started to find tiny sparks of strength again. Her sister Tammy stopped by often. At first, Tammy didn't know what to say. She just wrapped Amy in a long, tight hug. That hug said more than any words ever could. One morning, Tammy looked at her and said softly, "Amy, you've spent your whole life taking care of everyone else. Maybe now it's time you take care of you. You don't have to keep proving yourself. Sis, you're enough." Those words hit Amy deeply. It was as if a weight lifted off her shoulders. She started to smile a little more, laugh at Tammy's goofy jokes, enjoy her kids' laughter, and even take in the little moments again, like Brian making breakfast on a Sunday morning while singing off-key to old country songs. One evening, Amy sat on the porch as the sun dipped below the horizon. The sky glowed pink and gold, and the breeze carried the sound of Gage and Glenn playing in the yard. Brian came out carrying 2 mugs of hot cocoa. Amy smiled faintly and said, "You know, maybe I won't have another baby, but I can still love the family I already have even harder." Brian brushed her hair back gently. "That's what makes you special, Amy. You've always had a heart big enough for everyone." Amy looked at him, her eyes glistening but calm. "I thought I'd lost something, but maybe I was supposed to realize how much I already have." And in that moment, as the sun set and her kids' laughter echoed around them, Amy felt a strange peace she hadn't felt in years. Life hadn't turned out how she planned, but it was still beautiful, still full of love, still worth every single fight she'd ever faced. That next Monday morning, Amy woke up with determination. She decided that today would be the day she started fresh. She laced up her sneakers and looked in the mirror. "I need to get my energy back," she whispered to herself. "This mama's gonna move." She'd heard about a local fitness group called Mom Power Fitness, a place where mothers of all shapes and sizes came together to move, laugh, and build confidence. Amy was nervous but decided to go for it. When she arrived, the cheerful instructor, Lena, greeted her with a big smile. "Hi Amy, so glad you made it. We love having new mamas join." Amy smiled shyly. "I'm nervous, but I'm ready to try. It's been a while since I've done anything like this." The class was full of women of all kinds, some with strollers and babies, others chatting about sleepless nights, all just trying to do something good for themselves. For the first time in a long time, Amy didn't feel judged. She felt normal. The class started with stretches and easy dance moves. Amy laughed as she tried to follow along, losing her rhythm more than once. "My body's moving like a jelly roll," she joked, and the whole room burst into laughter as the workout went on. Squats, arm lifts, little bursts of cardio. Amy felt her heart pumping, sweat dripping down, but she also felt alive. For once, she wasn't thinking about her weight or her past. She was just there, moving, breathing, smiling. Halfway through class, Tammy's name popped up on her phone. Amy looked at it, then turned it face down. "Sorry sis," she muttered with a grin. "This hour's mine." When class ended, the instructor invited everyone to share why they came. Amy took a deep breath and said, "I just want my boys to see me strong. I'm not here to be skinny, I just want to keep up with them when they're running. I'm tired of watching from the sidelines." The women applauded, cheering her on. One mom shouted, "Preach girl," and Amy laughed, feeling a warmth in her chest. After class, Lena came up to her. "You did amazing today, Amy. Don't stop now, you've got a beautiful spirit. Keep coming back." Amy smiled, feeling proud. "Oh, I will." This mama's on a mission. That night, she posted a selfie, sweaty, red-faced, but glowing on Instagram. The caption read, "Trying something new for me. Taking one step at a time. #mompower, #new beginnings." The post exploded with love from fans. Even Tammy commented, "Proud of you sis. Just don't make me do no squats." Amy laughed so hard she snorted. For the first time in a long time, she felt proud of herself, not for losing weight, but for finding joy again. Lying in bed that night, she whispered to herself, "I'm not just Amy the sister. I'm Amy the mom. Amy the fighter. Amy the woman who chose herself." Her new chapter had begun, one filled with love, laughter, and strength she didn't even know she had. The morning sunlight crept softly through the blinds, warming Amy's face as she stirred awake. She could hear birds outside and the faint hum of the coffee maker Brian had started for her. For the first time in months, she felt something that had been missing: motivation. She got up, stretched, and smiled when she saw the boys still fast asleep, curled up like little angels. "Today's gonna be a good day," she whispered to herself. Downstairs, Brian handed her a mug. "Look at you, early bird," he teased with a grin. She laughed, "Don't get used to it." "But yeah, I'm trying to keep this momentum going." They sat together, talking about small things, school schedules, grocery lists, but underneath, Amy felt a quiet gratitude. The heaviness that once filled her home was slowly being replaced by warmth again. Later that week, Tammy came over with her usual burst of energy. "Girl, I saw your workout post," she said dramatically, flopping onto Amy's couch. "You trying to make me look bad?" Amy laughed. "Please, you could outsass me any day." The sisters bantered the way they always did, but there was something different this time, more lightness, less tension. Tammy noticed it too. "You seem calmer sis," she said softly. "Happier." Amy nodded. "I think I've finally stopped waiting for life to be perfect. I'm just trying to live it now." The sisters decided to film a small vlog together that afternoon for their channel. Tammy adjusted the camera while Amy prepared the living room background. "Okay," Amy said, smiling nervously. "Hey y'all, welcome back to our channel. Today, we're doing something a little different, talking about self-care, confidence, and how we're getting through tough times." Tammy, ever the comedian, interrupted. "Basically, Amy made me come here instead of Taco Bell." They both burst into laughter. The video went viral overnight. Fans flooded the comments with love, saying how inspiring it was to see the sisters not just talk about weight, but real emotions, heartbreak, healing, sisterhood. Reading through the messages, Amy teared up. "I didn't realize how many people feel the same way." Amy teared up. "I didn't realize how many people feel the same way," he whispered. Tammy squeezed her shoulder. "See, you're helping folks just by being you." As days turned into weeks, Amy's confidence grew. She started walking daily around the block with Glenn in a stroller and Gage pedaling ahead on his tricycle. Neighbors who once only watched the TV show now waved and smiled at her in person. Every wave, every smile, felt like a tiny piece of validation that she was really changing her life. But even with her newfound energy, Amy still faced moments of deep sadness. Some nights she'd sit alone on the porch when everyone was asleep, staring at the stars. God, she whispered, why couldn't I have that one more baby? The ache was still there, dull but ever present, yet she also felt something new, acceptance. Maybe, she thought, the family she already had was exactly the one she was meant to cherish. Then came a call that shifted her focus again. Tammy's health had been slipping, though she'd lost weight, her breathing was heavy, and she was struggling more with mobility. Amy rushed over to help. That evening, the sisters sat side by side in Tammy's living room. Tammy looked frustrated. I hate feeling helpless, she said. After everything I've done, I still need someone to help me move. Amy took her hand. Tammy, that doesn't make you weak. It just means you need the right help. You've worked too hard to give up now. Together, they decided to look for a full-time nurse who could assist Tammy at home. Someone compassionate, understanding, and patient. The following week, Amy set up a makeshift interview corner with a small round table, a stack of resumes, and a notepad. Tammy sat beside her, fidgeting nervously. The first nurse, Jenna, arrived right on time. She was calm, confident, and spoke with gentle warmth. Hi Tammy, I know this can be a little weird, but I'm here to see how I can make things easier for you. Tammy instantly relaxed a bit. For the next hour, they asked her about experience, handling emergencies, and emotional support. Jenna listened more than she talked, and that meant everything to Tammy. After Jenna left, Amy said, I like her. Tammy nodded. Yeah, she listens. The next candidate, Melissa, was the complete opposite. Loud, assertive, full of energy. She dove into her methods for weight control and hygiene routines. Amy admired her expertise, but Tammy felt uneasy. She's good, Tammy whispered, but it feels like she's talking at me, not to me. Amy agreed. You need someone who gets you, not someone who lectures. By late afternoon, they'd met everyone on the list. Tammy sat back, exhausted but clearer. You know what? Jenna's the one. She made me feel like a person, not a patient. Amy smiled proudly. Then that's it, sis. We'll call her. That night, Tammy looked at her reflection in the mirror, oxygen tube in place. Body still healing, but eyes determined. I can do this, she told herself. Amy stood behind her and nodded. You already are. With Jenna on board, Tammy's routine began to stabilize. She regained some independence and even started cooking simple meals again. One afternoon, while stirring soup, she joked, Look at me, Martha Stewart, who can't stand for more than 10 minutes. Amy laughed so hard she nearly dropped her phone. But inside, she was proud. Seeing her sister fight back reminded Amy of her own battles, and how far they'd both come. As weeks went by, Amy started thinking more about her future again. Her apartment felt cramped, toys everywhere, narrow hallways, little privacy. She dreamed of a home that truly felt hers, a space big enough for her kids to play and for her to breathe. One Saturday morning, she sat at the kitchen table with a cup of tea and opened her laptop to browse real estate listings. Most of the houses were out of reach, but one caught her eye. A cozy single-story home on the outskirts of town, surrounded by trees. Sunlight spilling through large windows, a small garden out back. Her heart fluttered. This could be it, she murmured. When she showed the listing to Tammy later that day, her sister listened carefully. It's pretty, Tammy said, but are you sure you're ready for that kind of responsibility? Amy nodded. I think so. I've been saving. I've got a little help from Mom if needed. I need something that's mine. Tammy sighed, then smiled. Then go for it, sis. You deserve a space that makes you happy. The following days were a whirlwind. Mortgage applications, calls with the bank, inspections, endless signatures. Amy was terrified, but also thrilled. She posted on social media, big changes coming soon. Maybe my dream home. Fans flooded her page with support. When she finally got the approval call, she screamed so loud that Gage covered his ears. Mama, are you okay? He asked wide-eyed. Amy laughed through tears. Yes, baby, Mama's more than okay. The first time she walked through that house, sunlight poured in through every window. The kitchen gleamed, the floors creaked softly, and there was this peaceful silence that wrapped around her like a hug. She could picture Gage's artwork on the fridge, Glenn's toys scattered across the rug, Brian grilling outside while she sipped lemonade on the porch. It wasn't fancy, but it was perfect. The next few weeks were a blur of packing boxes, painting walls, pastel pinks and blues, and rearranging furniture. Amy wanted everything to feel warm and welcoming, soft curtains, cozy blankets, framed family photos on every wall. Each small change made the space more hers. On move-in day, she held the keys tightly in her hand, her heart pounding with pride. She looked up at the front door and whispered, "This is it, my fresh start." Brian carried in the last box and kissed her forehead. "You did it, Amy." She smiled through tears. "We did it." That night, after tucking the kids into their new rooms, Amy stood alone in the living room. The walls smelled of fresh paint, and moonlight streamed across the floor. For the first time in forever, she felt peace. No cameras, no pressure, no noise. Just her and the quiet promise of new beginnings. The next morning, Tammy came over with coffee and donuts. "Dang sis," she said, looking around. "You really did this. Proud of you." Amy beamed. "Feels good, don't it?" They sat on the floor, laughing, eating, talking about how far they'd come from those dark hospital days. Amy realized then that this wasn't just a new house, it was a symbol. Proof that no matter how broken she once felt, she could rebuild her life piece by piece. A few weeks passed, and Amy's life slowly settled into a comforting rhythm. Morning sunlight would spill through the kitchen windows as she packed lunches, Brian humming softly while frying eggs, and Gage giggling as Glenn tried to grab his cereal spoon. It was messy, noisy, and imperfect, but to Amy, it was everything she had dreamed of. After the morning rush, she'd sit quietly for a moment, sipping her coffee and staring out at the small garden she had planted behind the house. Rows of marigolds and daisies swayed gently in the breeze. "We're growing together," she'd whisper, smiling to herself. Even Tammy noticed the difference whenever she visited. "Girl, this house has good energy," Tammy said one afternoon, munching on chips. "I swear it even smells like peace." Amy laughed. "That's just the lavender spray, dummy." But deep down, she knew her sister was right. It did feel different. This house carried no shadows from the past. Yet, as much as Amy loved her new world, she couldn't completely escape the one she came from. Old habits, old wounds, and old fears sometimes resurfaced. One night, while putting Gage to bed, he asked innocently, "Mama, why don't Daddy live with us no more?" Amy froze for a second. Her heart clenched. She tucked him in tighter, kissed his forehead, and said softly, "Because sometimes grown-ups can't be together if they make each other sad. But we both love you more than anything." After he drifted to sleep, Amy sat alone on the edge of his bed, staring at the soft glow of the nightlight. The memories came flooding back, the yelling, the tears, the loneliness. She wiped her eyes quickly, whispering to herself, "You made it out, Amy. Don't go back there." The next morning, she called Tammy. "You up for a little trip?" she asked. Tammy groaned. "Girl, it's 9 a.m. What kind of trip you talking about?" Amy laughed. "Just a drive. I need to clear my head." A few hours later, they were cruising down the highway with music blasting, windows down, and wind whipping through their hair. They sang along badly to old pop songs, laughing until tears streamed down their faces. "This right here," Amy said between laughs, "is therapy." Tammy nodded. "Ain't that the truth?" They stopped by a quiet lake on the edge of town. The sisters sat on the hood of Amy's car, watching the water ripple under the afternoon sun. "Do you ever think about what we've been through?" Amy asked softly. Tammy took a long breath. "Every day, but I also think about how far we've come. We used to be stuck, remember? Crying on camera, fightin' feelin' like nothing would change. Now look at us." Amy smiled. "Yeah, I guess we really did grow up. Huh?" Amy smiled. "Yeah, I guess we really did grow up. Huh?" Tammy looked over at her sister, lighter, freer, her eyes full of quiet fire, and said, "You're stronger than you think, Amy. You always were." That evening, Amy posted a picture of the lake on Instagram with the caption, "Healing isn't about forgetting, it's about forgiving yourself for surviving." The post went viral. Fans flooded the comments with messages of love and encouragement. Many said her words helped them through their own struggles. For Amy, it was more than likes or followers, it was proof that sharing her truth mattered. Weeks later, TLC producers reached out about filming a special episode focusing on Amy's new journey, her healing, her motherhood, her self-growth. Amy hesitated at first. The idea of opening her home again, of being vulnerable in front of cameras, made her uneasy. But then she thought about all the people who said she'd inspired them. Maybe her story could help others keep fighting, too. When the cameras finally rolled again, the energy was different. Amy wasn't the same scared woman she used to be. She wasn't hiding behind laughter anymore. She was standing in her truth. Viewers saw her gardening with her kids, cooking healthy meals, laughing with Tammy, and sitting quietly on her porch at sunset, reflecting on how far she'd come. During one interview, a producer asked gently, "Amy, when you look at your life now, what do you feel?" She paused for a moment, her eyes glistening. "Peace," she said simply. "For the first time in my life, I feel peace." Tammy, who watched the playback later, wiped her tears. "That's my sister," she whispered proudly. The episode aired a month later and instantly became one of the most emotional and uplifting in the show's history. Fans around the world wrote letters, emails, and comments saying how Amy's story gave them courage to leave toxic relationships, to believe in second chances, to love themselves again. One letter, in particular, touched Amy deeply. It came from a single mother in Texas who wrote, "Watching you reminded me that healing takes time, but happiness is still possible. Thank you for showing us we're not broken, we're just human." Amy cried reading it. She hung the letter on her fridge as a reminder of why her story mattered. Life began to move in small, beautiful circles after that. Gage started preschool. Glenn began babbling his first words. And Amy took up painting, something she hadn't done since high school. Her favorite piece was a canvas of two sisters standing side by side, holding hands in front of a sunset. "That's us," she told Tammy, smiling. But life, as always, had its ups and downs. One morning, Amy got a call from Jenna, Tammy's nurse. "Amy, I think Tammy needs you," Jenna said quietly. "She's been struggling emotionally, not physically, but she's withdrawn again." Amy didn't hesitate. She dropped everything and drove straight to her sister's house. When she arrived, she found Tammy sitting by the window, staring out blankly. "Hey," Amy said gently, sitting beside her. "You okay?" Tammy shrugged. "I dunno. I just feel stuck again. Like all the progress I made doesn't mean anything." Amy sighed, placing a hand over hers. "You're not stuck, Tammy, you're just tired. Healing ain't a straight road. Some days you'll sprint, some days you'll crawl, but what matters is, you're still moving." Tears welled up in Tammy's eyes. "You really believe that?" Amy nodded. "With all my heart." That night, they stayed up talking until 2 a.m., about fear, fame, love, and loss. And for the first time in a while, Tammy laughed again. Not the forced TV laugh, but a real one, deep, loud, genuine. The next morning, Amy left a note on Tammy's fridge before heading home. "You're not behind. You're healing at your own pace. I'm proud of you, always." As months passed, both sisters began to find their rhythm again. Tammy continued her therapy, slowly regaining independence, while Amy balanced motherhood, personal growth, and occasional filming. Together, they started planning a podcast, The Slaton Sisters Unfiltered. It wasn't about fame or drama, but about real talk, mental health, confidence, motherhood, and the messy beauty of being human. Their first recording was raw and emotional. Amy shared how she once cried herself to sleep, feeling like a failure, until she realized her strength wasn't in perfection, but persistence. Tammy opened up about self-worth and how she learned to stop measuring her life through other people's expectations. Fans loved it. The show climbed charts within weeks, becoming a symbol of authenticity in a world full of filters. One night, while reading comments from fans around the world, Amy smiled through tears. "We did it, sis," she whispered. Tammy grinned, "And we didn't even have to yell at each other this time." They both burst into laughter. As seasons changed, so did their lives. Amy's garden flourished bright flowers, fresh herbs, a small patch of tomatoes that Gage proudly watered every morning. The house became a home filled with laughter, music, and stories. Sometimes Amy would sit on her porch, with a blanket around her shoulders, sipping tea under the stars. In those quiet moments, she'd think about her past, the pain, the chaos, the heartache, and feel nothing but gratitude. Every scar told a story of survival. Every mistake led her here, to this piece. One evening, she picked up her camera and recorded a short message for her followers. "Hey y'all," she began, her voice soft but steady. "I just wanted to say, if you're going through something right now, please don't give up. I know what it feels like to think the pain will never end, but it does. You're not too late to start over. You're not too broken to heal. I'm living proof of that." Her words spread across the internet like wildfire, reposted thousands of times. People called it the most heartfelt thing she'd ever said on camera. Later that night, Amy closed her phone, looked at her sleeping kids, and whispered, "This is what I fought for." This piece. When Tammy came over the next morning, Amy was already outside in her garden, pruning flowers. Tammy watched her for a moment before saying, "You really built a whole new life out of the ashes, huh?" Amy smiled softly. "Yeah, guess I did." Tammy nodded, her eyes glistening. "I'm proud of you, sis." Amy looked at her, touched. "I'm proud of us both." And as the sun rose higher in the sky, the two sisters stood there side by side, not as TV personalities, not as broken souls, but as survivors who found their strength in love, forgiveness, and family. Their laughter carried through the garden, blending with the rustle of leaves and the soft hum of life all around them, and for once, the world felt still, safe, and full of hope. Amy had found her ending not in perfection, not in fame, but in peace. Not in fame, but in peace.